Nothing is true. Everything is permitted. Those words are the very foundation of the creed of assassins that we've come to love since the series launched back in 2007. However, along the 14-year journey, somehow this franchise has lost itself. So much so that the last two games have the actual Assassin's Creed on the sidelines, almost non-existent from the experience. So that's why I'm here today, to talk about what Assassin's Creed needs to do to bring itself back to what we came to love, and they need to do this now. What is going on, everyone? It is the Blind Prophet. Whether you started Assassin's Creed with the first game, or at least before Origins, one thing was always clear with the games. You were playing an assassin, with the slight exception of Rogue. For the most part, the journey had us exploring facets of the Brotherhood to achieve a goal, whether that be to liberate the 13 colonies, lead the charge of the French Revolution, or just seek the revenge of your family being murdered in front of you. For our protagonist, the Creed becomes a vessel of allies, abilities, and lessons that aid us in seeing their goals through. But recently, the games have seemingly stripped the Brotherhood entirely from the core of the game. In 2018's Odyssey, we followed the story of a Spartan mercenary in Greece before the Order existed, which left them without the series' iconic Hidden Blade. And in 2020's Valhalla, the Brotherhood is just there to give our Viking protagonist a Hidden Blade, but the Viking stays very much Viking. It seems these choices were made to provide more action to the games, leaving stealth as something as you can still do, but not the focus, to favor the more combat-heavy styles of a Greek merc or a Norwegian Viking. And before you start typing on in the comments, I don't feel these are bad games at all, really. However, they are not Assassin's Creed. If Ubisoft had marketed both as individual period-focused games, they'd be awesome, and could honestly have benefited from not being tied to Assassin's Creed lore and mechanics, and could have leaned further into what they were based in historically. Odyssey and Valhalla are so conflicting to enjoy because of the core Assassin's Creed blood that lacks to flow through these games. Something as minor as the series' iconic robes and hood not being present have me disconnected from the title stamped on the cover. Even Assassin's Creed Black Flag was still able to execute a perfect balance of action and stealth. As Edward adopted assassin tactics to his pirate lifestyle, he incorporated the hood and robes to his outfit, and he achieved not being a technical assassin, as in the game the Brotherhood did not accept him as one of their own, however, an assassin nonetheless, as he still saw the benefits in adopting their ways. In Valhalla, Eivor is just a Viking with a hidden blade. Yeah, maybe you can crouch in a bush, but the focus of the game is big battles and raids, not the stealth that made these games what they are. Aside from stealth and actual assassinations, the franchise has also left another core element on the sidelines, which was the parkour. It's very much in the game, but probably just as basic as the first game. Gone is the incredible system of parkour that was introduced and abandoned with Unity. Now, I can complain all day about the state of the current games, but that's not what we're here to discuss. So let's get into what I think Ubisoft needs to do to not only bring Assassin's Creed back, but some of their other series as well. Maybe saying bring back isn't really the best way to put it, but if I could have it my way, I would give Assassin's Creed a send-off of sorts. The series has gone on too long, which is apparent in Ubisoft's willingness to abandon the franchise's core. The series should go back to its roots, with stealth and espionage, parkour, and true assassinations. And a setting that would be perfect for this rather than further and further back in time before there even was an assassin, in my opinion, would be World War II. I would love to see a sort of Inglourious Basterds approach to Assassin's Creed, a departure from swords and shields, and a take on how the assassins handled and balanced modern warfare with stealth. And World War II is the perfect setting to take this on. Espionage, spies, assassinations, all of these things still took place at the time, and from a storytelling perspective, would still be compelling. An actual return with the assassin and Templar conflict could be so easily integrated into the Ally and Axis powers conflict. This element missing from the current titles is probably what makes the games feel most like different entities from Assassin's Creed. A true Templar villain is what we need, a sort of Thanos character, seeking pieces of Eden. However, starting with Origins, the Templar Order has had sort of stand-ins with groups or cults that the protagonist would seek out and assassinate one by one. But assassinate is used loosely since Bayek, Alexios/Cassandra, and Eivor really just hack and slash their way through their targets. Which is not to say our assassins never fought ferociously when stealth was not an option, but that was just it. When stealth was no longer an option. We work in the dark to serve the light. These games to stealth first, then focus on combat rather than the opposite as they have been. And once again, I feel World War II could provide a great opportunity for this. Our assassin could still utilize a hidden blade, and even the robes and hood would still look badass. We would be able to actually parkour the modern-esque buildings of France or England. Hell, maybe even Russia. There's so many areas a story set during the war could take place, and with Ubisoft making whole countries in their games now, there's great potential. But this is where the send-off comes into play. The game could be handled in a fashion that allows for co-op, tasking you with infiltrating a German party, or being hired by Oskar Schindler to liberate a concentration camp. Various missions for you and friends to take on, or take as a lone wolf. But at the end of the game, your commanding officer would debrief you, congratulating you on your part in ending the war, and you're to meet the president. In which, in meeting the president, he bestows you with a patch with a skull, a new task force. the ghosts. This could help tie in Ubisoft's worlds, but allow them to rest if needed. The game would neither be Assassin's Creed, nor Ghost Recon, nor Splinter Cell, but rather everything lovingly tied into one. Co-op would be important as well, if done right, to give you the sense of brotherhood the game has also been lacking. I also feel that the RPG system should be vamped in a way that allows you more freedom to choose your character. A woman that could maybe seduce, allowing you closer reach to a target. A man who can speak German, that would allow infiltration behind enemy lines. A sniper who could mark enemies for the squad as a way of tying in eagle vision. And if you brought those abilities together through some sort of skill tree progression, how they could impact cooperative gameplay. The combat, in my opinion, is what needs to be on the sidelines. I feel if anything, it would be much more engaging and fun if a mission goes south, trying to escape, running from rooftops, and utilizing the hidden blade and even hidden pistols more as an act of evasion rather than engagement. And even if we needed to truly fight as an assassin with the history rooted in melee combat, CQB tactics could be explored in a sort of John Wick way. Just something so that it's not just a third-person shooter, but rather an Assassin's Creed game explaining their evolution to the modern age. We saw a small taste of a World War II setting from Unity's Rift missions, plus an actual comic story set in World War II, and since then I've wanted them to go back and explore that with a full game. My first choice before Ghost of Tsushima would have been feudal Japan, but Sucker Punch beat Ubisoft to that, and they lovingly crafted the game Assassin's Creed could have been. However, World War II is the next best choice, and I think that's what Assassin's Creed should do now, or at least in my opinion, which that's all this video is about, is my personal opinion, and I would like to know yours. I tried to condense this down as much as possible, as I could talk all day about a game set in this period, as again, I feel it's what's needed to really bring back Assassin's Creed for fans like myself. But what do you guys think? Do you like the current direction of the Assassin's Creed games, or would you prefer more Back to Roots revamp? I'd love to know in the comments down below and discuss it with you all. But as always, stay hydrated, let them pass in peace, and Excelsior.